Good morning. My name is Chris Flewallen. I'm the Assistant Center Manager, Child Care Manager here at Warren County Head Start at the Human Educational Resources Facility in Bowling Green, Kentucky. And I'm creating this video in order to fulfill requirements of the class at Western Kentucky University. I'm here today with Miss Elena Nunez. Elena is a migrant teacher here at EHS and has over 20 years of experience working and teaching with Head Start and preschool children, and may be, in my opinion, one of the best Head Start and preschool teachers in the state of Kentucky. Good morning, Miss Elena, and thank you for meeting with me today.
It's a pleasure, Chris, and whatever you need, I'm willing to help you.
Thank you. I wanted to talk with you for just a few minutes about child assessments, but specifically assessment as it pertains to children whose home or primary speaking language is not English. First of all, research tells us that there are approximately 460 languages represented in schools and programs in the U.S. Do you think these programs and schools are equipped to accurately assess such a diverse population of children and students?
In my own opinion, from my experience in working in a different agencies or even in the school district in Los Angeles, my own opinion is no. And the major reason I say no is because that assessment or the tools that they use is not in their children's home language. And when some of the assessments that they've been translated, some of the translations I found out there is a mistake. They have a mistake or they are wrong. And the reason is because in Mexico, from brown color we say café, other countries they say maroon or marron. And that's where I found sometimes that even they try to say the translation is not in the child.
I noticed that too. Last year when we worked together in the classroom, there would be a lot of things that maybe I heard a child say, or maybe like a color like purple. Some children would call it morado.
Yes,
other children would call it another word.
Púrpura.
Yeah.
Some of them call púrpura, and in some countries called morado. So I found out that there is a lot of discrepancy when they translate that assessment. So sometimes the assessor needs to know the home language so they can apply the assessment in the right way. Another thing that I see in my experience is that the people or the person who does the assessment, they're not speaking the language of the child. And it's the major problem. The translation is a minor compared with the problem of the child when they don't speak their language.
Right, I think so too. It says, also I read, and evidence also shows that although non-speaking English children score higher on like a standardized test like the Dial 3, like on the math section, they might score really high, but they score much lower on reading and language and the language fluency test. Why do you think this is happening?
Well, for me and my own experience too, in my life experience, when I started going, my first language is Spanish. When I started going to college or university, my experience was that math is a universal language. If you put numbers, everybody knows that's number 2, that's number 10. Doesn't matter the language, because math is a universal language. But when you put it in a class, that concepts are different.
For language? For
language. It's when the language get in. Because when you're using words like for a problem, it will be different. But when you put it on the board, then the child knows what you're talking about. So the reason also that the reading and the language is so low when they do the assessments on them or what they score too low is because the language is so different, English and Spanish. Now it's come out like, I don't know if you heard anything about Spanglish, that our community children or the Spanish-speaking children are combining words in English and Spanish. So they are creating another new language. Another reason is because a lot of our families that immigrate to this country because they are low-income families in Mexico or in another country. So some of them, they not even know how to read or write in their own language.
Adults?
Adults.
Yeah.
So it's a poor population, and for me these assessments are doing for a high-class children.
I see.
So that's another reason why this is happening.
So for me, like last year when we worked together, we had Hispanic or Spanish-speaking children and we had English-speaking children. But now I don't work with you, I worked in another classroom with a teacher who, both of us only speak English. So for me, or for someone who does not speak Spanish, what do you think is the best way for us to go about assessing a child in reading and in language? Do you think it can be done, or do you think that we must look at other options, such as the program or the school system and providing an interpreter before performing an assessment?
If you want to be fair with that child, I would recommend you to get an interpreter or translator to help you doing that assessment, because it's not fair when a child is assessed in another language that he not even know the language, that he might not even aware of another language, or he never hear a word in English. Your other resources that it will be good, use the parents, because some of the parents, even though they don't have a lot of education, but they might know the language already in colors, numbers, common things. They can help you to assess the child. It will be another option.